Ready to launch? Now what? Next steps for your product or app. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa, and I am with I'm with IdeaPros, and I'm the director of marketing here. And I have two awesome people with me today. I have Cary, who is CEO of IdeaPros, and I also have Chris and Pesek, right? Chris Pesek, president of Peak Degrees, and we are chatting about everything that you need to do while you're prepping to be launching, but the after and all things attached to that. So Fred, I'm going to let you take it over so we're not crowding the screen with me, but I'll be here in the background if you guys need me.
Well, thank you, Tessa. We're going to be talking about the afterlife, I guess. So Chris, it's great to have you on here. Good seeing you. So Chris and I have been talking for quite a while now, and IdeaPro is always looking for solutions, and as we get our partners ready to launch, what happens next? Well, Chris happens next. Chris and I have worked out a strategic arrangement. We're going to be working on a lot of products together, and Chris is a real expert in getting products to market, both with advertising, distribution, direct sales, and we want to talk about some of those things to show you how they would work when you have your product that's ready to go. And then we'll also do some examples of some of the things that we're doing together or getting ready to do together. So Chris, you want to first tell them just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Chris Pesek. I'm with Peak Degrees, and I appreciate Fred having me on today. Very excited to be here, and we're going to be talking about what happens after your product is ready to launch, and how do we take your product and create sales from it, and the fun part of making some money. So we're very excited, and I'd like to go into a little bit about what I do is creating that digital presence. And everybody is going through these crazy, uncertain times right now in the world, and everything is happening online. It's all about being discoverable, having your product, your brand available for people to see. And we're going to go into more detail of how to then bring people to your website, drive sales, some other options we have, in other options of what we could do and generate more sales. So very excited to be here.
All right, well, awesome. So why don't we start with that, the advertising component of it when you're ready to go and you want to reach the world in a digital form. Can we talk a little bit about what you do in that arena?
Sure. So I think that the main thing is after you have a product and you create your digital assets, your copy, it's time to then build a website. And I look at that as almost like building a house. It's the foundation of your product, your brand, to go ahead and then we could build above that, right? Once you have a website with great assets, great content, really describing the product and how it works, this is now the chance that we can go ahead and drive traffic to it, right? If you were to say, hey, Chris, this is my product, the first thing we're probably going to do is go online, do a Google search, and we want to make sure that your product comes up and it's discoverable, right? From there, is it available for sale, or is it just an info page or a landing page telling me about it, right? The main thing is, if we have inventory, we want to make sure that it's available for sale and people can buy it if need be. And we could look at other options, looking at Facebook ads, Google ads, going ahead and driving traffic through the website. And then, Fred, I know we definitely want to talk about other options of besides e-commerce sales. But sure, e-commerce today is going to be the core. And I think the main thing is, everybody wants to go into retail right away, but the product is just potentially going to sit on the shelf. And how do we create that demand? And that demand can be created through online sales, as well as going back through online and saying, hey, Mr. Retailer, we sold X amount of units last month. There's demand for our product. you should consider us for online. I'm sorry, for in-store.
Yeah. So that really is happening more and more, where when you're getting ready to go live, the first choice is online. We do have a couple of partners who've gone straight into retail. In fact, we're talking about one of them now with Fritz Toffee, and we can talk about how you would morphous into an online environment in a minute. But let's talk about your company. Would also working with entrepreneurs help with kind of the Facebook advertising? Do you guys help identify the target market and lead that effort?
Yeah. So going back to the foundation really quick, in building that, it's very important to include Google Analytics into your website as well as Facebook Pixel. That way, when users come to your website, we know who's coming. Is it male, female, the age, and it gives you a rough idea of who's visiting your site and then who's also converting and purchasing your product. By using that data, we're able to spend money much wiser. We're not just throwing money up in the air and wishing and hoping that we catch one. The main thing is if we're marketing a product towards women, we want to know the age demographic to target. And also on Google Ads, what keywords are people searching on Google, as well as what keywords are people converting on Google to make sure that we're spending more money on those keywords to drive traffic.
And so when we talk about driving traffic, can we talk a little bit about the sales channels that you utilize and that we'll be using going forward with different products? What are the main sales channels you actually deploy?
So the main channel is obviously a e-commerce website. If that's a Shopify website, Squarespace, WordPress, or any other platforms that are out there, with a shopping cart is the most important thing to obviously take a payment. In addition to that, everybody is obviously aware of Amazon, the big gorilla in the room, and those guys. Some people think they're it's more competition. But look at it as a partner. They are giving you distribution. They're giving you eyeballs. People are searching on Amazon for products all day long, just like they are on Google. And it's almost like its own internet for products. If we're searching a certain category, you might just be able to sell your product there just based on search and using a keyword. The other options are for the products are potential licensing and going into working with a large company and licensing your product out and letting them build your distribution. But we have a couple products that we've done in the past that is perfect for live shopping, which is a QVC, HSN avenue, which are mainly products that need some demonstration, need somebody behind the product to sell it. If we're selling a t-shirt, that's an easy sale. Everyone knows what a t-shirt is. But if we're selling a certain gadget that's specialized, it's much easier for that sale when somebody is explaining it and demoing it in front of you or on TV.
Yeah. And,
sorry, I just wanted to pop in for one quick second. I know the question came in from YouTube about if this is for physical products only. So we are talking about physical products here and not the app side at the moment.
Metaphysical though.
But if you do have questions as we go, we will save them for the end. I do see you guys over there. So I just wanted to make sure I made that announcement real quick, and I'll let you guys keep at it.
Okay. So speaking about these resources like QVC, for example, sometimes people don't really understand the power of those channels. And I know you're working QVC all around the world, not just in the US. And you and I have been working together on a walking device. You had just a recent victory, I would definitely call it, with a walking device in the UK. And I know you were pretty outstanding with it in the US. But can you talk about that just a little bit, like the type of sales people can expect, or not
Sure.
expect, but are possible to have?
Yeah, and I think I don't want to limit. When developing a product, you don't want to limit yourself to the US or certain regions. There's people all around the world that might be using your product. So as Fred mentioned with QVC UK, we had success in the US, and with that, they wanted to do a test in the UK, and it is a mobility product for, it's a walking device. And the main thing is it works. We hired a presenter out there who, things in the UK are slightly different, and they talk a little bit different with an accent. So it's nice to have a local person out there who can go ahead and relate to people, because the main thing is, with that, it's all about trust, especially when buying online. It's all about trust, and Amazon does a great job with reviews. I'm sure people check the reviews. Is it a 4-star, 5-star, 3-star? The main thing is it's the trust and confidence. You don't have that ability to pick up the product and touch and hold it. So when somebody's talking about it and demoing it and holding it, they're able to really connect with the viewer, and that's the main thing, and that's the important part of the demonstrations of QVC or of any live shopping network. And there are live shopping networks across the world. There's TV is very powerful. So I think the main thing is, if you have the opportunity to be on live shopping one point or another, it actually will help drive traffic. I think, we're all entrepreneurs here. Everybody knows the show Shark Tank. And if a product's on Shark Tank, it drives traffic to the website, because ultimately it's eyeballs to the product. And it's going to drive traffic, and hopefully with traffic comes sales.
And speaking of sales, when you're doing that product, QVC in the UK, I think you said you were doing 9,000 pounds a minute or something like that.
Yes. So TV is very expensive, and if you're doing a commercial, a 60-second commercial, or if you're going ahead and being on QVC or HSN, it's all about the sales per minute, because like I said, TV is expensive. So there are goals to meet with different metrics, depending on the product and volumes. But I think the main thing is there's demand for a product, and if it does well and it meets the goals of the test, they're likely going to reorder. And I think it's an exciting thing for the product, and ability to enter different markets globally. And it's exciting to obviously see a product that I've invented, and it's being out there and distributed. Yeah,
and 9,000 pounds, that's about $14,000, somewhere around there.
Right.
A minute. That's insane. It really is. But it's the power of the different distribution channels, and you don't only sell there, right? You sell directly through a website, and you sell through Amazon with that product.
Right. So I highly recommend anybody who's looking to launch a product is that you make your product discoverable with a website, with Amazon, at a minimum, because not everybody shops off Google. Some people only shop on Amazon. Some people only shop in retailers, and they're missing out on great opportunities of products online. But I think these retailers today are really trying to connect the dots and bridge that gap. And like I said earlier in this conversation, if there's high demand for a product online, and we contact Walmart, they're more likely to take the product because there is demand behind it. They're not going to be taking such a risk on the product.
And so, for example, you're talking, these last couple of things we're talking about that you're doing directly, it's really your own product. How do you typically work with, let's focus on IdeaPros partners for a minute here. For example, we have Raw Beauty Co. We have Fritz Toffee that we're going to be trying to work with on both of those. You want to go through the diverse products, and can we go into how you would tackle each one so people can see what the differences are?
Sure. So looking at a Raw Beauty Co., it is a skincare line, cosmetics, and I think the main driver of that is going to be the one, probably an influencer to target and get somebody, a bigger name behind that person, or behind the brand that people trust. That individual or influencer uses the product and can go ahead and connect with the customer and back it. I think that's always important. An endorsement is always going to be more trustworthy, right? I think from there, with the website, creating the website and having it online on Amazon as well will only help with distribution. And the main thing is we want to make sure that your brand is consistent across the board. So the brand messaging on the website is the same messaging that is on Amazon, is in retailers and everywhere else across the world, because that's what people know. Just very similar to, Coca-Cola. Everybody around the world knows Coca-Cola and knows the colors, and that brand messaging is consistent throughout. Talking about the Fritz Toffee now as a food item, and the sales are doing very well in grocery stores and things like that. But more people, if we can get this in more hands and more people sample the product, more people are more likely to purchase the item or repurchase the item. And I think it's getting more eyeballs, going back to getting more eyeballs on the product for more people to try it, or at least take that, $25 risk to try the product. And if they like it, they're likely to buy it again and tell somebody else about it. So now all of a sudden, it's almost like you're going to be, you're reselling the item multiple times to the same person throughout the year.
Yeah, and that's what we definitely want. Now, between those two products, for example, let's just jump to QVC just as an exercise. Would one of those, you're going to be working with both of them, would you look at both of those and say, hey, this one might be good for QVC, this one not, and why?
So actually, both items could potentially be contenders for live shopping. I think the demand is going to, what my presentation to the live shopping networks would be, sales history to show demand, to limit their risk. I think the celebrity endorsement or an influencer would definitely help in the presentation of live shopping and on air, because people are going to be familiar with that person. And some of the networks, they all have their own demographic. The majority of the networks are primarily women and middle-aged women. So if that brand believes that their customers, that's who their customer is, the live shopping network is perfect for that. I think on the food of Fritz Toffee, I think there's a lot of opportunity for the host to go ahead and try the product. And, people are going to be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing we've ever tried. You have to try this, bring it home, $25 today. I think it's a great opportunity. People, they do all sorts of food testing or cooking shows on TV. And it when you watch it, it almost makes you hungry. You start thinking about food, and that's what we want to really convey to people with the video or with live shopping or TV. Yeah,
and we were talking about a men's accessory product too that seemed very opportunistic. When you have the holiday season coming up, for example, and you have inventory. Are there kind of guerrilla type things you can do to get to market real fast and start selling? I know that otherwise, we can be looking at months to get ready to roll, but do you guys ever just work opportunistically?
So we have. We've actually, my team and I have actually taken a product from idea to conception and actually sold out within a month. And we've done that based on building a website, securing a manufacturer, branding, photos, assets, and having the ability to do that fast. And then where we sold out was on Amazon, because we had the ability to send that product into Amazon, have it sold, have it being discovered, and also have organic traffic through our website, which was able to double down on sales and push out the inventory much faster. Someone just asked the approximately how long does it take for a product to actually get in the shelves of a store. It does take a while, and It really is about the demand. And I think people need to understand that it's difficult to get a meeting with a buyer at a store, and then from there convincing them that this is going to sell on their shelf. And we all have to consider, we've all been in retail stores before, is there's so many products next to it. How is this going to drive traffic? And I think it could take years. It could take 6 months based on what's happening. But I always, tell people that I work with is, let's start online. It's faster. People are there. There's eyeballs. They're willing to put their credit card in online. Let's build online and then go to retail with demand. Because if we take away that risk to the retailer, they're more likely to give it a shot and purchase.
It's an amazing topic. So I just wanted to, I know we're almost at the end of the time. So Fred, I just wanted to remind you to, if you have additional questions, to wrap up soon, because you want me to keep it tight.
No.
He's like, no, let's keep going. You can keep going. I mean, we can break our own rules. It's okay.
I wanted to talk about Bill, my partner with Goliath. He's amazing. High-rise sports chairs, works at 3 different levels. If you're a soccer mom and the back row, it goes up 5 feet high, so you can see. It's just everywhere we've brought it. We've had the prototype. We've even brought it to the beach, and people gather around it. And we are looking to crowdfund. There he is. We are looking to crowdfund this, and he is taking pre-orders already for the product. But Bill would love to if he woke up tomorrow and the world was a beautiful place, first of all, he and I would be on a yacht somewhere. But besides that, he really was interested in knowing about licensing deals and how they might work. And do you work with licensing companies at all, or do you license yourself products?
So a couple things. There's 2 ways to look at it. There's doing a licensee, which could be potentially like licensing with the NFL, right? To go ahead and put the NFL logos onto the sports chair. There's definitely that route of, the sports teams, the colleges. Disney is another example of licensing. And I think looking at that route of licensing, the big question that you need to ask yourself, if I go ahead and put a license on here, is that going to drive sales, right? For a t-shirt, a water bottle, something like that, yes, it definitely drives sales. But if you have a unique product, it's not always necessary to go down that route. But the main question is does it drive sales? Okay. The other option in licensing is to license your product to another company or a large distributor that would go ahead and be the face of the item. And basically take all the hard work off your plate. They would likely manufacture it, they would likely distribute it, and then you would collect a royalty from there. I have done both the licensing side, working with an inventor and doing a licensing deal, and I have also worked on the product side with licensing through sports teams in the NFL and things like that. So there's definitely opportunities. Each product is unique. Going towards that sports chair sounds like a great idea. All of a sudden, if you're, I'm in Chicago, and if you're going to, hopefully soon, you're going back to an NFL game or a baseball game, and you want to sit up high, it is the perfect opportunity to put a Cubs logo on there or a Chicago Bears logo on there or something like that. So I think there's a great opportunity, and really like to talk further about that item. Well, we will as soon as we're done with this show. But in any event, with you and me, basically, and I know this show, I like to keep it about entrepreneurs in general and how they get somewhere, but also when we have new partnerships and new people that I think can really help our own partners, I do want to tout that relationship as well. And Chris and his team are really going to take a look at all of our products when they get ready to go. We have a wide variety of potential solutions, and we'll sit down and roll up our sleeves and look at every opportunity, whether it's a licensing deal, distribution deal, reseller arrangement, advertising, whatever it is.
Chris is our man, and he's really going to help us move a lot of products out there and get some great distribution. So it's really great having you here, and it's really great being able to partner with you. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate the conversation today, and look forward to reviewing more of your items.
Okay, awesome. So Tessa, that's it for us.
That's it for you. I'm gonna just chat with Fred real quick. So did you have any final thoughts, Fred, or did you already wrap it up? He's like, I already wrapped it up, Tessa.
Well, wouldn't like to say goodbye to him instead of just kicking him out.
He's still here. He's still here.
And thank you. This is the hardest part, and a lot of our partners know that, because a lot of you have been sitting there with a product ready to go, and it could take months, it could take longer as you do the things necessary to get ready to go, especially if you don't have the bankroll, right? If you have the bankroll, forget everything I said. As soon as your product is ready to launch, if you have the money to go out and do the tooling and the pre-orders and the advertising, then you're golden. But a lot of partners don't have that. A lot of entrepreneurs don't have that. And so we have to hold our breath and be frustrated and try to figure out ways to get that product to market when you're facing that burden of dipping into your pocket very deeply to go ahead and pay for what it takes to get that ball rolling. But as you can see from the example with Chris, the 14,000 a minute on QVC in the UK, they were doing even more than that in the US. So there is a real opportunity here to find ways to get somebody who can be a master distributor or who can be a licensor, if we don't have the capital to go ahead and do things in any other way. So each of the partners that have partners that have a product that's ready to launch, let's talk about that offline and see what opportunities there are for us to do things without a big bankroll. I think as an entrepreneur, once you get to this point, you really, really mastered a lot of the hard things that need to happen in order for you to be able to sell. And in literally every case with our products, you're perfectly positioned and you're ready to go. And now bringing Chris in gives us a real opportunity to launch many of these things very, very quickly. So hold on to your horses and reach me offline. Go to Chris at IdeaPros if you're one of my partners, and let's talk about getting you going and getting your sales started. But for every entrepreneur, keep it up. There's always a way. It may not be the way that you thought it was going to be, but if you are persistent and you keep the ball rolling, you're eventually going to get there. And I'll see you on QVC as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Fred. And thank you guys all for being here. I know we wanted to cram a whole bunch of very valuable information into this show, so I didn't do a lot of mentions, but I see you guys over there. We're here every Friday at noon Pacific time. So hit the reminder bell after the show so that you get notifications when we go live, or in the post itself, you can get reminders by text or email, and also submit questions if you are watching the replay. Hopefully we have some more questions to feed Fred on his next live Ask Fred. So in 2 weeks, I have to say, in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing some special promotion that is all about you guys. So you can submit videos to us, 30-second videos. So you have to be really succinct about how advice for entrepreneurs or what you've learned in the entrepreneurial process. You can submit them and they might be in our special show. And I'm going to really bribe Fred so that he'll put the final video up on his Instagram page. Hopefully, we'll see if he'll let me, which has 200,000 viewers. So, but if you want to submit that, make sure that you get it in within a week so that we can produce the video and then have that as our 2 weeks from now. We'll have that show and you'll get a little fame, 30 seconds of fame if your video is selected with advice for entrepreneurs. So start submitting them, put them, just tag IdeaPros in the video you do on your page. And the more you have people that are reacting to your video, the more likely you're going to get on there. So Thank you, guys.
I would just say that if you have a product with a website already, app or physical product, make sure that you mention your webpage.
Yes, publicity, right? So another way that we just support entrepreneurs and really keep the energy going and help others while we're at it. So thank you all so much. We'll see you next week.
All right,
Bye.
take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.